Today, we're going to talk about something fascinating. This idea that the most powerful success, the kind that really lasts, often comes from all the hard work that nobody ever gets to see. It's all about the quiet, relentless power of steady growth happening just under the radar. Okay, so let's jump right in. Right off the bat, we're shown these two totally different ways of doing things. On one side, you've got the early blooms. The success that's super fast, super visible, and gets a ton of applause. But on the other side, a completely different strategy, quiet, foundational work, all done in silence. And that's really the core choice we're digging into. So let's really explore that second path, the one that honestly most of us tend to overlook. This is the journey of the late bloomer, and it demands a very specific and often really misunderstood kind of strength. This one sentence? This is pretty much the whole idea in a nutshell. Watering his roots? That's not about just sitting around and waiting. Nope, it's about active, intentional, foundational work. It's the practice, the study, the deep, deep learning that happens way below the surface, far from any kind of spotlight. So what does watering the roots actually look like in the real world? What is this silent, foundational effort really all about? Let's break it down. This here is a fantastic breakdown of the whole process. First, it all starts with foundational work, getting the deep skills right, the stuff everything else is built on. Then it's about consistent effort, that daily grind, showing up day after day. And maybe the most important piece of the puzzle is the third step, internal focus. This is huge. It means shifting away from needing outside approval, chasing the likes, the praise, the promotions, and instead finding your drive from within. It's about loving the work itself, believing in your own process, not waiting for someone else to tell you you're doing a good job. And that, right there, leads to the hardest part of all of this. This journey, it can be incredibly lonely. There's no feedback, no comments, no attaboys. It is a pure test of your own belief when it feels like the entire world is giving you zero evidence that any of it is working. So what happens in all that silence when you're getting zero validation from the outside world? Well, something else inevitably shows up, and that something is doubt. It's just the natural result of working your tail off without seeing anything to show for it right away. This timeline just captures it perfectly. Doubt isn't some one-time thing you beat. It's a recurring visitor. Season after season goes by without a single visible result, and that little voice in your head just gets louder and louder. Is this even worth it? Am I just wasting my time? I mean, think about it. We are literally wired for feedback. Our brains crave a signal that our effort means something. And when that signal is missing, doubt just rushes in to fill the void. It is a tough, draining battle against your own nature. And here it is, the antidote. The answer to that nagging doubt isn't just to wait around. It's active patience. This is a superpower. It's not passive at all. It's a conscious choice you make every single day to trust the process, to believe that the work you're doing in private is compounding, building up under the surface. It's a quiet confidence that everything you're doing in the dark is going to matter one day in the light. Okay, so after all those seasons of quiet patience and invisible work, the whole story takes a turn. The focus shifts from that internal struggle to a huge external breakthrough, and it reveals a kind of strength that was being forged the entire time. And there you have it, the turning point. After all that time, something finally breaks through. And that word, finally, it just carries all the weight of those silent seasons, all those visits from doubt. The unseen work is about to become very visible. And when the results did show up, they weren't just good, they were off the charts incredible. I mean, just look at this comparison. The early blooms, sure, they were flashy, they got attention. But the results that grew from those deep roots, they're in a completely different league. That foundation, it really, really mattered. To put it simply, the quality was just on another level. This wasn't just success. This was resilient, robust success, the kind that's built to last. The real strength wasn't just in the final outcome, but in the structure holding it all up, a structure built over years of silent, consistent efforts. So, how do people on the outside, the ones who only ever see that final, huge result, make sense of it? How do they explain this kind of sudden, massive success? Well, that leads to a pretty common misunderstanding. Of course they did, and you can't even blame them. From the outside, when you haven't seen the years and years of watering the roots, a sudden breakthrough looks exactly like a random lottery win. It's really the only explanation that makes sense for something that seems to have come out of absolutely nowhere. But the person who actually did the work, they know the truth. And this contrast between what the world sees and what you know you did, that's everything. It wasn't chance. It was cause and effect, just played out over a very, very long timeline. So this lets us completely flip the script on what luck even is. True luck, in this context, isn't random at all. It's the harvest you get to reap from seeds you planted seasons and seasons ago. It's the totally predictable outcome of consistent, focused, and invisible preparation. All right, let's bring this all home and tie it all together into one final powerful takeaway. What is the ultimate lesson from this entire journey? And there it is. The pace of your growth is directly tied to how permanent it's going to be. Things that are built to last, whether that's a skill, a career, a company, even a relationship, they almost always need that long, slow, foundational period. The slowness isn't a bug in the system, it's a feature. It's what actually builds the strength to endure. So that leaves us with one last thing to think about. In a world that is obsessed with speed and celebrates all the noise, what are the essential, foundational roots that you are quietly, patiently watering today?